Hey you guys, it's me, Miss Bobby, and I'm coming at you with a ovulation tracker um, type of vlog. So I'll go ahead and start off by saying that I'm not an expert, and I am a woman that suffers from a hormonal disorder, and typically using digital um, ovulation tests are not recommended. But I can tell you in the 2 years off and on that I have been using the Clear Blue and the Clear Blue Advance, that this is the first time that I've seen this type of, I guess I would say, results. So I don't know if that's a good thing pertaining to the fact that I'm trying to eat healthier and do a little bit more with my body in a positive way, and I'm getting better results, which means the readings are closer to accurate, sorry. But further ado, so everyone who is not familiar with Clear Blue ovulation test, when you start to test, you want to make sure that you're using basically the same time every day. You want your urine to be as concentrated as possible, which means you haven't intaked a lot of water to dilute it. And you have three settings. You have where you see the blank face that comes up, which means basically no surge has been detected, so they say low. And then you have the next one that will show you a blinking smiley face, which means it has detected a LH, a hormone surge, it means you're high. And then when you get the solid smiley face, that means that you're at your peak. Once you get to that point, that means 12 to 24, some people say 36 hours, your eggs will be released. Other people are letting you know that once you hit a high, some people have been known to have one high day and then they go straight to their peak. Other people, such as myself, I had 3 high days and then I fell over into my peak. Um, Typically, they don't recommend that you look at the test strips once you eject them, because the only thing you need to worry about is what the monitor says, what the, I guess you'll say, applicator. But I want you to know that this is the first time I've ever noticed that even though these lines may not mean too much once they come out of the applicator, this is the first time when I hit peak that I could see that what would be typically the test line was actually darker. This is the first time I've ever seen that. So on a typical test strip, you want to make sure that your test line is as dark or darker than the control line. Let me give you an example of what I mean. This right here is a regular ovulation test strip. And this right here would be an indication that ovulation is negative on this day, because the control line is still there, but the test line is not dark as or darker than the control line. So when you see something similar to that with the digital, that could be possibly a really good sign that your body in that particular time frame had high levels of the hormone LH. Again, I've never seen this before in any of my digital, but again, I am someone who suffers from polycystic ovarian syndrome, and these digital tests have been known to give false positives. So I don't just go by those. These for me are just kind of like obsessiveness, and it kind of gives me like a secondary go to. So for me, I would love to see a positive on a test strip as well as on my digital. And then I'm going to show you what a positive on the test strip looks like. I do apologize. Let's see if I can get these laid out for you. These all right here are perfect examples of what a positive on a regular test strip looks like. The lighting is really bad, and it's always best to read these when they are fresh. So 3 minutes to 5 minutes, anything after 10, you shouldn't read them. But I can assure you, even with the lighting being bad, all of these were taken in one day throughout the day, and they all remain positive. And that was positive from 5 a.m. all the way up until 5 p.m. that afternoon. So again, this one down here will be an indication of a negative, which means your body has not hit that LH surge, or it hasn't approached a high LH surge. And these right here are all positive, saying that you have hit that high LH surge. So again, if you look at this last one right here, and you see that test line is darker than the control line, those are all indications that you hit your high. Um, and on the digital, they call it your peak. So as you can see, you have lows, highs, and peaks with the digital. And for the test strips, I just say you're gradually going to see the difference in the test line getting darker and darker and darker. I will do my best to show you that. I am very obsessed with tracking, so I have a lot of tests and I'm trying to get them situated for you. And of course, they want to be difficult. Again, I am not a professional. I am just somebody who is on a journey trying to conceive. And so this again, this is a prime example. This that I'm showing you now is from one day. This section up here. This is from early that morning, very faint line. And throughout the day, you notice that that line started to get darker and darker and darker. And I'm talking about the line here. So from that morning, very thin, faint line till they started to gradually get darker. And then the following day, I got my very first positive over in the AM, throughout the AM over into the PM. Again, somebody who is trying to get pregnant and you may have an irregular period, or maybe your period is regular, but you have a hormonal imbalance. These right here are the best way to go because they're so very inexpensive and you can track as much as you want. These babies come in a pack of 25, 50, 100. And this is the brand that I use. I live by them. I've tried other brands and I just feel more comfortable with them. This is not sponsored. And they also have pregnancy tests as well. So again, I'm just trying to put some information out there for anybody that's had any confusion on how to track your ovulation. This is just kind of like a baseline video. Again, they're not recommended if you have a hormone problem, but again, if you're obsessive like me, you're gonna wanna have other things that you rely on until you learn how to do certain other stuff. I'm not a body temperature checker. I do check my CM, which is my cervical mucus. I don't check my position of my uterus just because it's hard for me to do it, and my fiance is not always here to give me, to check for me. So again, blank face when it's low, blinking face when you're hitting a high, a solid smiling face when you are at your peak. Again, the lines over here did pretty much just the same. They were completely very faint all the way up into peak. And as you can see, in case you didn't know, when it comes to the applicator, and I'm not for sure what they call it, you test every single day at the same time because it kind of gives it like a 24-hour clear out that window, and it will stay like that for 12 to 24 hours. However, when you get your peak, that will stay on the screen for 3 days. You won't be able to use this applicator after that point. Well, up until that point, because right now it's not going to let you read anything other than the fact that you hit your high, and it's going to stay there for 3 days. So again, this is a negative test script for ovulation here at the bottom. This is a day where you starting to hit what we considered high, because you go from a very faint line over into a very dark line. And then last but not least, these are positive test strips here. All of these will indicate it is time to do what they call the baby dance, or in my case, inseminate. It's not a bad thing to inseminate with fresh sperm as early as seeing the lines get darker. It just depends on how much access do you have to fresh sperm, and also when you start to get your positive, to make sure you take care of the business then too. All right, you guys, like I said, I just wanted to be as helpful as possible with anybody that is trying to track their ovulation. Miss Bobby's always trying to help everyone else while helping myself. I hope that you guys have an awesome and blessed Friday. I love you. Hugs and kisses. All right, thank you.